Nightwing finds the Attorney General yelling at one of the cops who tried to burn down Haven. She says that they will be held in the jail until his trial, and thanks to him embarrassing the department, he will be going away, but for how long is determined by what he has to say next. The woman demands to know who ordered the attack as Mayor Zuko calls Commissioner Gil McLean, telling him they know that he ordered the attack and he's got 20 minutes until they come for him, so he needs to leave to Bloodhaven Airport, where a plane is waiting to take him out of the country. Melinda demands to know where Blockbuster's files are, so McLean retrieves them from his safe, packing them with his money and passports, telling Melinda that they're his insurance against her and Blockbuster. He quickly leaves with his security detail as Melinda tells Oracle that he took the bait and the files are with him. Nightwing springs into action, catching up with the Commissioner, taking down his biker escort and turning the bike on McLean's car, charging it and leaping from it as it smashes right through the windshield of the Commissioner's car. Nightwing tells the Commissioner he can go 7 different ways about this as the man opens fire, so Dick quickly disarms him. The man tries to punch the hero, but Nightwing easily blocks his blows, knowing that he's the man who disappointed him the most, since with Blockbuster, he doesn't try and hide what he is, and he is a power-hungry thug, but McLean put on a badge to protect and serve the people of Bloodhaven. McLean tries to go for his own baton, but Nightwing pulls it from his hand with a grapple gun, telling him that he was meant to defend Bloodhaven from men like Maroni and Blockbuster, but instead join them and weaponize the police force against the city's people. Nightwing knocks him out, telling the Commissioner that he is everything wrong with this city tucked into a uniform. Dick retrieves the files from the briefcase, knowing that it's not a great look for the Commissioner to be escaping town with a suitcase full of cash and passport, and this pretty much doubles down on him being guilty. The FBI arrives, so Nightwing takes the files and leaves the Commissioner to be dealt with by his own people. Later on, the Attorney General holds a press conference, telling the press that Commissioner McLean has been apprehended, and thanks to the rampant corruption in the city's police precincts, Mayor Zuko has made a choice and appointed Maggie Sawyer as the new Commissioner. Maggie thanks the mayor for her new position and tells the people that her and Dan Turpin are there to root out corruption in the police force, and no one will be above suspicion. Electrocutioner meanwhile asks Blockbuster if they're going to kill Maggie, but Desmond hates that Lester is asking questions. He knows that she won't disappear since it would lead to unwanted attention, merely wanting his men to get in the car and get ready. Barbara meanwhile looks over the files Dick took from Gil, learning that they contained all of Blockbuster's financial holdings and dealings from the last 5 years, as well as the payments to criminals, the police, and to the government. Melinda tells them that Gil is being questioned by the FBI, but they have everything they need to convict him now. Oracle asks if Melinda is okay with how this went down, but she knows that she watched Gil drag the former mayor's body away before it disappeared forever, so she won't be losing any sleep about entrapping McLean. Dick suggests to Barb that they order some pizza and rifle through the files, and Barbara knows that there's nothing more romantic, kissing Dick as Haley begins to play around with the files. Melinda meanwhile is contacted by Blockbuster, who isn't happy with Commissioner McLean being taken by the feds, and Melinda hiring Maggie Sawyer. Melinda says that she was given a list of people to choose from, and she thought Maggie would be the least effective since she ran Metropolis's MCU, and how much crime does Metropolis have with Superman living there? Blockbuster wants to see her, revealing that she is at her home with Melinda's mother. Melinda rushes home, finding Blockbuster waiting with her mother, who hopes that her daughter will be okay, as Blockbuster asks Melinda to go for a ride with him. Blockbuster's men demand Audrey stay behind, stopping her, but the woman hopes that Brutal wishes to keep his hands, wanting them removed from her body. Melinda knows that it's okay, getting in the limo as Blockbuster tells her that they are being challenged, and someone attacked him in his own building just days ago, making them look weak. He knows it all started with Dick Grayson taking part of his city, and he should have died when his apartment building blew up, but when the Commissioner questioned a woman from the building, she made it clear that Dick knew the explosion was coming, and he knows who tipped him off. Melinda is taken into a room where the tied-up electrocutioner awaits, told by Desmond that Lester is the rat in their ranks, and him and Brutal were the only ones in the room aside from Melinda and him who knew of the plan. Desmond tells Melinda that they are going to send a message with Lester by sending pieces of him to Grayson, Maggie, and everyone else he suspects is a traitor. Melinda wants to know how much Electrocutioner knows, so Blockbuster leaves her to interrogate him, but Melinda cuts Lester free, calling Dick and telling him about Lester and the situation they're in. The freed Electrocutioner, however, blasts Melinda, telling the returning Blockbuster that it was Melinda who is the traitor and she just called Dick Grayson. Blockbuster picks up the phone, telling Dick that Melinda can't come to the phone right now. He crushes the device, telling the injured Melinda that he is very disappointed in her. Sometime later, Melinda begins to wake up as Brutal isn't happy with Electrocutioner for hitting the woman so hard with his powers, knowing that he should have some degree of control. Brutal sees that Melinda is awake, telling her Blockbuster knows she is She's working with Dick Grayson and wants the info she has on him. They hear a knock at the door, thinking that it's their boss, but they find out it's Nightwing, who takes the villains down quickly and rescues his half-sister. Melinda asks where Audrey is, learning that she is outside since she followed them, which she wasn't meant to do. Dick knows he's the poster boy for stubborn self-reliance, but Audrey has the high ground here, seeing as Melinda was kidnapped and tortured. Blockbuster confronts them outside, charging Nightwing as Audrey hits him with the car, telling Dick and Melinda to get in the car so they can escape. At the Bloodhaven police station, Gil McLean is interrogated by the former detectives who worked for him and who are more than happy to put him away for corruption. Gil still thinks he can get out of this, telling the detectives about Blockbuster's financial records he has and he can't produce it since it's all hidden, wanting full immunity before he gives it up. The detectives make him reiterate what he said, and Gil says he has no problem giving up Blockbuster and what he knows. The detective finds that a real shame, shooting Gil as that's not the answer Blockbuster wanted to hear. 5 minutes later, Maggie finds Gil dead, demanding to know from the officers who was in there, but they refuse to talk, angering her. Dan comes to find her, telling her that the mayor wants to talk in private. Maggie and Dan go and meet Melinda and Audrey, learning the mayor has been working on bringing down Blockbuster and Maroni in secret. Maggie isn't sure they should trust her, but Melinda reveals that Blockbuster knows that she is working against them and she has enough to take down several of his operations, but they need to move tonight. Maggie doesn't know how they will do it, so Melinda takes them to the roof, telling her they need to catch Blockbuster in the act, and luckily they know where he's going to be. Maggie doesn't trust any of the cops not to tip him off, especially after McLean was killed in her own station. Melinda knows that it will be because Blockbuster thinks he had what they have as Maggie meets with Nightwing and Batwoman. Nightwing is glad Maggie is there as Superman spoke very highly of her, telling her that they have the people to pull this off and find the evidence. They just need Maggie to be behind their plan and do everything by the book. Nightwing hands over a file on every cop who's taken money from Desmond, but Maggie knows that she's trusted Batwoman before, and that was a mistake. Nightwing didn't know anything about their previous history, but knows the city is run by corrupt, violent men who think it's okay they are above consequences, but they have the opportunity to strike against organized crime here. Maggie and Dan agree, and so do the Titans, Robin, Signal, Huntress, the Batgirls, and Batman. Oracle details the 4 major crimes Blockbuster is conducting that night: a shipment of arms, a cargo plane filled with trafficked people leaving Bloodhaven, trucks filled with drugs entering the city, and rare jewels being bought by Boss Maroni, who will be there in person. The Bat Family, the Titans, and the Flash take down all 4 crimes simultaneously, with Dick reminding them to subdue anyone the Commissioner's task force can use. Blockbuster and his men soon learn all of the jobs have been disrupted, and Desmond knows that it's the new Commissioner and Nightwing doing this. Brutal asks if they are running, but Desmond refuses to run, stating that they are going for a drive to remind the heroes who owns this place. Blockbuster heads for Haven, firing a rocket launcher at the park and burning it. Maggie meanwhile thanks Batwoman for helping out as Dick asks Kate what happened between her and Maggie. Kate knows that she was meant to marry her, knowing that she didn't thanks to a mix of stubbornness, stupidity, and fear. Kate knows it was the biggest mistake of her life as Oracle alerts them to Haven burning. Nightwing and Batwoman arrive at the Inferno, hearing someone call for help in the library. Nightwing races to help them, finding Blockbuster has 2 kids hostage. Desmond demands that he drop his sticks or he'll crush the kids' heads, so Dick does so and gets on the floor as Blockbuster commands him, standing on the hero, proclaiming that he is the city and Nightwing cannot change that. Blockbuster smashes his fists down on Nightwing, causing his mask to come off and reveal Nightwing is Dick Grayson, which angers Blockbuster even more. Outside, Batgirl watches Haven burn, trying to contact Nightwing and tell him she found something in Blockbuster's local businesses, as Dick knows that he tried to push back and stop it all it led to is Haven burning. Blockbuster meanwhile is enraged that Dick Grayson is Nightwing, knowing all this time fighting the most frustrating rat and there was another one just behind the mask, like a Russian nesting doll of vermin. He knows at least killing one man will rid him of 2 problems, but Dick picks up his mask and puts it back on, wondering if Blockbuster thinks that he'll go down easily. Blockbuster calls in Brutal and Executioner and some of his men as Nightwing punches him in the face. Dick knows he'll have only a few minutes before backup arrives, but that's all he needs. Batgirl meanwhile tries to contact Dick again, noting his heart rate is spiking. Dick tells her that he's dealing with Blockbuster, not wanting anyone to come in since they have to evac Haven and have 4 anti-crime operations they need to focus on. He does know he's been putting this off long enough as he beats on Blockbuster, telling him he's sick of men like him who could choose to do anything or be anything everything and choose to hurt people and want more than they already have. He knows the city deserves so much better, but Blockbuster again says he's the city. Nightwing pummels his face, knowing it probably sounds convincing to the man when he says it to himself in the shower, but it's untrue and the city is done with Blockbuster. Barbara tries to enter the building, but Nightwing tells her not to worry about him and deal with the evac, but Barbara doesn't need to, as the community has gotten together with water to help douse the fires and save Haven. Nightwing continues his fight, telling Desmond that the city is fighting him and they know all about his deals and crimes, and all of the cops he paid off are already in custody. On top of that, his drugs have been taken off the street by the Flash, the Titans have saved the people he was trying to traffic out of the city, and the Bat family dealt with Boss Maroni. Nightwing reminds Blockbuster that he was waiting for backup, as outside, Brutal and Electrocutioner and their men are confronted by Batgirl and Batwoman, who show them some of Blockbuster's financial records, something they are going to want to see. Blockbuster meanwhile snaps Nightwing's battens, telling him that he isn't the first to try and stop him, and those who are at the bottom of the harbour, ringing the city. He thinks Nightwing's punishment won't end with his lungs filled with seawater, however, since he knows who Nightwing is now, and he'll break everyone who has ever helped him, from the mayor to Bruce Wayne and to the Titans. Dick tells him that he doesn't know who Nightwing is, and he won't know Dick Grayson, since he would know there is no way he would let him hurt any of his friends. Nightwing kicks Blockbuster from the library and out into the street, where he is doused with water from the people and told to get out of their city. Blockbuster escapes to his car, but Electrocutioner refuses to let him in thanks to what Batgirl showed him, revealing that Blockbuster owned Bloodhaven Private Prison, the same prison he did 2 years in. Lester says that it was the worst prison he's ever been in, with barely any food to go around and no sunlight. Brutal backs him up, saying that he had friends in that prison who didn't survive it. The two villains flip off Blockbuster, leaving him stranded in the street. Barbara makes it to Dick, who says he isn't sure he's okay since Blockbuster knows who he is and it won't be safe for anyone, so Dick Grayson and Barbara Gordon cannot be together. Barbara laughs it off, knowing that she loves the part of Dick that wants to protect everyone, but this is the one she won't accept, telling him as superheroes, they are always in danger. Darkseid could attack the planet tomorrow, or Kite Man could fall from the sky and hit her, or Trigon could even step on her. Dick reminds her that this time Barbara Gordon would be the target, but Barb understands that if a storm is coming, then she's going to bring the umbrella. She tells him that he is allowed to be happy and so can she, hoping that he is happy with her. Dick knows that in the last couple of months he's been shot at, blown up and beaten up, and he's been the happiest he's ever been. The two decide to keep their relationship going, but Barb knows that Dick is still worried that he'll get her killed, but she knows that he's worth dying for. Blockbuster meanwhile races through the alleyways of Bloodhaven when he's confronted by Heartless, surprising Desmond since he thinks he killed the villain. Heartless says that he got better and now Blockbuster has lost the only thing he ever cared about, and now his time is up. Heartless uses his gun to pull Blockbuster's heart from his chest, telling Desmond that he had to augment his technology to take his oversized heart, since he wants it intact, since he will be using the heart to be the center of Bloodhaven again, and it will be beating in his chest since now Bloodhaven belongs to Heartless.